Welcome to the DickeyDines Show.
God, it smells like Danny DeVito's underboob.
Welcome everybody to the DickeyDines podcast.
Yes!
Welcome everybody. Today we have a very special episode for you, and that is because we will be joined by the legendary multi-platinum band Skylimit.
Everyone's favorite runner-up, everybody.
Everyone's a little bit of a tension in the ranks because we have a Greystone member here with us today, but unfortunately Austin was not able to make it to the Skylimit podcast. Yeah, he's here for the intro.
Had some real life stuff come up that sucked, so wasn't here.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make it, and we had a tight schedule for having all 5 of Skylimit at the same time, so we had to stick to that. But it was a really good podcast. Really enjoyed it. Before we get into that, I just want to say that today's video is sponsored again by Pretty Good Branding. Pretty Good Branding is a printing and branding agency which is owned by our good friend and my manager, Tony.
Wow.
They specialize in large format painting like backdrops, table throws, tent tops, flags, and of course, merchandise for your band or business. They've made backdrops for some bands such as Power Man 5000, Pierce the Veil, Atreyu, Ask Alexandria, The Used, and many more.
Whoa.
They even printed all the merch for my band, Scion. It's true, they did. And we will be printing all of the DickeyDines Show merch, which, if you want some DickeyDines Show merch, link in the description to get some merch. We're going to have some new designs coming out very soon. We trust Pretty Good Branding with our merch needs, and you should too. Right now, they are running a special just for our viewers. Visit www.prettygoodbranding.com using the link in our description or pinned comment and submit a quote. They'll give you 10% off. 10% off your order when you mention the DickeyDines Show. So what are you waiting for? Head over to prettygoodbranding.com and send them a message for your next merch order or print job. Thank you so much, Pretty Good Branding, for sponsoring this video. One other thing, we do have a Patreon as well. If you want to join us there on Patreon and be part of the after show and get extra perks, extra content, special messaging, and Discord abilities, and get your name on the wall behind us if you give us, yeah. Sorry, my brain just was like, sponsors.
It was so funny. I was like lulled into like a sense. It was like almost like rhythmic, like how you were doing it. Then so when it hit, I was like, what's happening? I was like rough. Yeah.
I saw Austin space.
The Patreon link in the description below if you want to join us there and help support to make the DickeyDines Show continue to happen. We do really appreciate it. Merch also, and without further ado, Austin, let's get into the Skylimit podcast, which you unfortunately were not able to be there for.
I was texting Bradley right before the show, and he swore he was only going to say nice things about Greystone. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes. Welcome to the podcast, Skylimit, the multi-platinum record-selling band with their hit single. What's the song called again?
Bro, know this by now,
dude.
You're lucky that we're
Something
even here,
about
man. We've got a fucking Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech in like an hour, man. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. Something about finding me or something.
Motherfucker.
There you go. Place you'll never find. Skylimit with their hit song, A Place You'll Never Find. And you can find that song actually on Lauren's channel on YouTube. You guys put up the official music video and did an actual recorded version, which Grasshopper has not done yet, by the way.
Because they suck. Of course they haven't.
Damn. But yes, you can find that on Lauren's channel, Skylimit.
Spotify.
And it's pretty much everywhere, right?
We did it. We did it properly.
And we did it through DistroKid because we're the greatest collaborators of all time.
I mean, it's a shame that Spotify glitched out. The original version had 2 billion streams or something like that.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I saw that.
We had to re-upload it, so it's only got a few thousand now. But
everyone came in one day and just was like, world peace for that one day, and then it all went to shit after that.
Yeah, Spotify just died.
Well, Skylimit, thank you so much for joining us today. We have some questions from the audience and also just questions that I have. First of all, how was your experience for Musician Mansion? And particularly, I guess, what were the challenges that you guys had to face? What were your first impressions? When you found out who was on your team, was there any type of nervousness or question of, is this going to work, or how did it flow? How was the whole kind of encapsulating experience for you guys?
Who's gonna
Lauren,
go
start.
first?
Lauren,
Yeah, I was
do
like, we
it.
gotta
I'll
go
do it in
on
order.
that.
Okay,
Team leader.
So I was going into the mansion just like, I was really excited, but I was also super nervous because I'm not really like I don't like cameras. Like I'm very like nervous, and I have a lot of anxiety about it. So going in, it's like, you have a lot of people in the same space, a lot of people who make content and write music, a plethora of different like music styles. So I had only really worked with Bana in the past. So once, for me at least, once we started challenge 1, we had like a little bit of like calibrating in the beginning, but then I think we found a groove super quick, and then all my nerves kind of just went away because I was like, okay, I love my group. And I was just super happy once the song like started to take its shape. I was like, hell yeah. Overall, my experience was very fun and mischievous, and
Yeah, you villain.
and it was fun, like living my villain era and delivering quite possibly the worst roast of all time, which is fine. Because it's Musicians Mansion.
Exactly. Yeah. None of
Comedian
you are
Mansion.
stand-up comedians. So,
I am not a
mean,
stand-up comedian. I think we all know that by now. But no, I learned so much, and I just couldn't be happier with like meeting so many new people and just having a good time and being really present in the moment. That's my spiel.
Before we go to Bradley, I was going to ask you, how do you feel in hindsight now, seeing kind of like the episodes back, seeing some of the response? How do you feel about your villain era in the show?
There was like 5 minutes where I was like, oh, fuck. But I think the people who actually know me, like they know that isn't really me. And I think there was more that was filmed that wasn't necessarily shown. And I'm over it. Like, I think if people didn't really get the joke, then that's on them at this point. I mean, it's a reality show.
Right. And that's kind of one reason why I wanted everyone to do their own separate videos, vlogs, behind the scenes. So then when the show comes out, the show is obviously the show. But then everyone that wants, more music, or they want that BTS, they can go to your channels and they can see how the vibe was, how everyone actually came together and got along and everything. But
yeah, the vlogs were amazing.
Just say, I loved your little villain arc.
I had so much fun. I came home and I was like, I think I'm a villain. And then
I found my
everyone's
calling.
like, no, you're not.
It was so
You're not.
perfect. It really was
it
so
was really
fitting that when you're like, I want to speak to your manager. It's like, oh no, here we go.
Like, I think if anyone goes and reads the Skylimit bio,
Yeah,
they should probably know by now.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But you do have a seriously kick-ass song, I will say that. I
thanks,
think
Jared.
out of the three, you guys really were able to capture a song that could easily be on the radio. Like, it could be some, you know what I mean? Like, it
And
just
yet
was.
we still didn't win the
We got robbed,
challenge.
dude.
I know.
Well-
That's crazy. That's
What were you
crazy.
thinking?
Well, so I think the only thing that stopped you guys from winning the first day challenge was just how crazy Greystone went on stage.
The
The performance
performance.
was unhinged, man.
It
Oh,
was
dude.
unhinged.
We
Yeah.
were like really serious. I go back and I watch us, and I'm just like, you can see we're concentrating and we're trying to play
Yeah.
tight, and like
Yeah.
we're trying to be proper about
Yeah.
it, and it let us down in a
Dude.
way. But like
The second-
the song is still great.
During the fucking
Yeah.
performance, like if you look closely, you'll see my leg is like fully
no.
extended out towards like the center of the stage, dude. I'm just like, this is Damien.
You still played amazing though.
Yeah.
I think great.
Yeah, it sounded
sabotaged on
great.
purpose.
It sounded
That was all.
great.
That was all Damien right there, dude.
I remember you saying something about the drum set because you were in the practice space with one of the new drum sets from Sweetwater, and then you went to the live room and you were like, "Dude, this drum set's way worse than the one in the practice room." Like, what the hell?
Like
I was
like an Elysian
Yeah,
kit or whatever it's called. Like, I don't know what it was. Like the velocity and the latency was super shit compared to like the rolling. Like you could hear like all my articulations and the ghost notes and everything. I was like, I'm not getting that on this showroom kit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was still fun though. Besides Damien's fucking pedals.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe in hindsight, we should have had the drummers bring their own pedals and just set them up on stage. But because I think
drummers,
Sunfire had that same issue too, because they were Kevin's pedals, and when Grasshopper has that second verse and it's like, she was having a little bit of a struggle with that. They're super tight.
Their one heavy bit
they had, their Metallica riff.
Yeah.
Like a riff.
What I loved about Grasshopper's song though was like the that metric modulation they use it, where they go from like triplets in the verse to like sort of like fucking with it and going straight in the chorus.
It had
really
though.
cool.
Originally, I was like, "Oh, they fucked up," and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, they didn't. It's part of the song." Like,
it's definitely trippy for sure. I think they might have suffered from trying to go too intricate a little bit, where I think is you guys, like, not to say your song was simple, but it was simple in the way that it was easy for people to digest the first time that they hear it. And I mean, I was still walking around my house singing that goddamn chorus all the time. Like, me and Hannah were just like, look into my eye. We're just like, fuck, like, it's so good.
prioritize the hooks.
We pulled that one out of our ass.
Exactly. And then your guys' harmonized solo. Was so sick.
Yeah, that was fun.
I love that.
Yeah, that was good fun. I did love that moment. It was because we were just fucking around when we were like writing it as well, and Bradley just started finding the harmony, and he was like giggling about it, and I was like, we should do that. Like, actually do it. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, Bradley, I mean, obviously I know that you're a great guitar player, but actually hanging out with you in person and watching you jam and watching you write and play with, Skylimit and just everyone in the jam room, like, you fucking shred, dude. Like, you're a very, very talented guitar player. But let me extend the question to you. What was like some maybe some things that you came out of the experience that you learned for the better? What was your overall experience? Stuff like that.
Yeah, for a start, I watched your podcast that you did with Finn a while back, which was super cool. And you were saying there about how important it is to, like, to say yes to opportunities, and like that's so true. And when this opportunity came along, I was like, this is totally something that I wouldn't usually do, but hell, it sounds like a great opportunity. So yeah, jumped at the chance. Thank you for the invite again.
Of course,
super appreciate it. Yeah, and for me, like, because I'm such a fucking control freak and like workaholic, my own band and my content and stuff. So like coming to Musician Mansion and sort of like taking more of like a backseat and just sort of like just chilling. And it was so cool. It was so cool. It's like the most wholesome experience ever. Because it's not really like in my personality to be like the sort of the biggest persona in the room. I'm like super chill person. So it was nice to sort of like, just absorb everything and not be the sort of like, control freak for once. It was super cool. And like, as far as band members go, I was like super lucky. Because, we got all like the deathcore degenerates in their own little thing.
Caveman.
What am I?
Sorry, Andy.
You're more than that. You're more than that, Dana.
No, I'm just super lucky with the group because obviously you've got like the fellow Brit, which was nice to sort of like, just acclimatize.
Jet lag together.
Yeah, that was great. And Boehner is like the nicest fucking dude ever. He's like the easiest person ever to get along with, like for real. And like Dylan, I feel like we have like the closest sort of sense of music taste compared to anyone else. Yeah, because we were like jamming
then me and you would like be jamming like fucking
like
Hangar 18
was cool.
by Megadeth, and like everyone's like, "What is this fucking boomer music going on in here?"
Yeah, and it was nice to have someone to jam that shit with, sort of like kinship. That was cool.
Aww.
And like Lauren, as much of a fucking diva as she is, she's absolutely lovely person and a super talented singer. Like, holy shit,
insufferable.
Yeah. So yeah, very blessed. Very blessed.
I think Drusif hit the nail on the head in one of his confessionals where he said pretty much everyone here has they do their own content in their room by themselves, and so it's just going to be a whole house of people running around like, how do I collaborate with other people? But you guys just seem to like instantly connect. I mean, was it an instant thing that you kind of got in the room an hour or two into it? You're just like, oh, it was
just like 10 minutes of sort of like feeling it out about how we want to start things, and then as soon as it got going, it was just like
it was
super
chaotic
organic.
for a minute, wasn't it? But like, there's a part on the show where I think we were saying that, but it's always going to be when you're put in that situation. And I think all things considered, we did very, very well.
It wasn't until I was like, yo, like we got too many cooks in the kitchen. Let's just fucking settle down. And I think that's until after that we all kind of like started piecing the song
simplified
together.
it.
Once we all kind of figured out what our roles were, so to speak.
Bana, before we get to you, I want to go back to Lauren. So Lauren, I pretty much, I made you the kind of team captain, team leader. When you got in the room with everyone, did you come into that role really well, really easily? Or did you find that there was kind of like the team lead was more of a collaborative lead? Or did you take reign and just like, this is my band, we're doing this, like not in a way that's like stubborn or abrasive or not tyrant, but just like how was it for you in that role of like team lead?
I think when it comes, I just wanted to write a good song. Like for me, like whenever I approach songwriting, you kind of have to like understand what is everyone's strong suit, and then you have to like try and highlight that. So what I tried to make it at least super collaborative. As long as we had a good key for me, we kind of we like established
Drop
the key.
F.
We know drop F is shit.
That's where it gets really shitty.
Even though like my brain was trying to say, hey, drop F is probably not great for my voice. It came out as drop F is shit.
that
I
whole
was
scene.
like, I don't even know what a key is.
That scene is one of my favorites.
That Bana, that was so funny.
Oh
You're gonna
my
have to
God.
explain it to me in tabs.
I was just like, fuck, man. Of course I said that.
Oh my God. But I think once we established like, okay, this is a good key. Truthfully, I think every single person contributed like such an incredible part of their arsenal. Like, if I remember correctly, it was Dylan's idea to do the 4 on the floor for the chorus, and it was Sophie kind of took. It's like, okay, let's establish a chord progression, and then Bana worked on like the rhythm and the syncopation and the heavy sections of the song. And Brad had these extra flares of chord progression, and if I remember correctly, you made the progression into like
He made the riff. Yeah.
You made the riff out of the progression.
And
then
I wanted to. I added the because at the beginning it was just like the chorus was just sort of like, you know, super just straightforward and diatonic. I just wanted to add that like little James Bond Dorian chord in to give it a bit of extra spice.
The James Bond chord, that was really And then I started humming like
That's right.
and then Sophie and I just like shit these lyrics out, because lyrics are like not my strong suit, coming up with them super quick, and like
we were fast though.
Oh my God, because like when you have two people who already do that, it's like you're able to vibe off each other and bounce these ideas off each other. I'm still like fucking astounded how we made that. Like I
5 hours.
In 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like I'm still so shook, and it's not an easy thing to make something like what we made. And truthfully, I'm just like super proud of it. And I think it showcases everyone and how collaborative it was.
I think a big part of it is that there's like no egos in the band either. We just sort of like understood that we wanted to.
As it may not appear.
And we all just understood that we just want to write like a fucking banger song. And do whatever.
I think we did.
Yes.
I think we fucking did.
We did.
You really did. Yeah, it was interesting because I was obviously watching all three of you guys, or all three of the bands, and, you know, Greystone had this kind of crazy, chaotic energy that was completely irresponsible, but somehow they could pull it together and just create this like fun chaos. And Grasshopper had like kind of a cool sound, but I think the thing with Grasshopper was that no one really kind of became the leader in that band. When I would kind of walk by and see what was going on, it was, you know, it was kind of, you know, chaotic in a way where things just weren't super coming together. I think maybe there might have been a little bit too much like timid personalities in that group. But yeah, you guys, I felt like every time I saw you, it was always, you know, Lauren, you were kind of like, you know, the villain or that like alpha figure, that leader figure. And then your band was just so cool with whatever you wanted to do, it seemed like. And then you kind of just charged forward. And obviously with the talent and that leadership, you guys, I think, excelled quite a bit.
Oh, well, thanks. I think like I've been doing bands for like 15 years, and I think one of my strong suits is just like project management and like just
band dad.
I've been band dad for 15 years, and like I always like try and make sure every single person in the band has a voice. And
I think it felt that way. I feel like you said earlier, everybody contributed like a really even amount, and everybody had their part of the song. Like it would have not been the same without a member, if that makes sense. Like if any one of us were missing, it wouldn't have been the same. So
I agree.
Well done on putting us together, Jared.
Yeah,
That's
for real.
good. Yeah, good.
You really did a good job. Like I'm still so
Shook.
shook. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect at all. But it's really cool to see. Bayonet, so I want to ask you, because you switched to bass for this project. How was that for you? Bassna, yeah. How was that for you? Were you salty at all that you couldn't play guitar? Were you happy with the performances that you did on bass? And what was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, no, I wasn't salty at all. Especially like I had seen Sophie and Bradley's channels a little bit before the mansion, so like I knew kind of like what they were about, and I'm like, these are two like lead primarily guitarists, and like I am not a lead player at all. I'm like a rhythm guy, so I was like, it makes more sense to me to just go to bass anyways, because even if I was playing guitar, all I really care about is writing riffs. So I was like, it's the same thing whether I'm playing bass or guitar. Whatever, if that makes this go faster, I'll just do it. So yeah, I wasn't salty at all. Actually, I thought it was like a lot of fun, because I've always kind of wanted to try playing bass, but my whole like YouTube everything is so like guitar that I've never actually just played bass in a band. So it was kind of fun to live out that, you know, fantasy, I guess. That's like a weird way to put it, but you know, I've always wanted to be a bassist in a metalcore band. Like, sounds so ridiculous.
I'm sorry to break it to you, man, but it suits you.
You said something in the confessionals about 4 strings, like it was a foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And
dude, I know, that was so funny.
It was fucking weird, but I was like, damn, it's like he knew.
And the whole like meme on my channel is like, I play like a lot of like whatever 8-string, 9-string bullshit, but like really my joke was like, it doesn't really matter how many strings I have. Yeah, that was it. Let's be honest, like I just use the bottom 4.
Yeah, that's it.
And playing fucking a 4-string bass.
Right.
Yes,
of course.
so good.
We just removed every other string, and you're just doing what you've always done.
It's the same thing.
It just fit.
And we still got to play a drop B, and I was like, hey, it still feels like I'm playing low enough that this feels normal to me, so it was great. But no, it was really fun, and like, yeah, just because I was playing a different instrument didn't really matter to me. Like, I think that like Lauren and everyone else is saying, like, we all still contributed like equal amounts to everything, so I didn't really care what instrument I was playing. Is like, as long as I have like some kind of input, I'm happy, and I definitely feel like I did. So yeah, I was happy overall. And yeah, like everyone else is saying, I was pretty like surprised with like how easygoing everything ended up being. Like, it definitely was like the first like maybe hour was pretty stressful when we were like, what are we doing? But then yeah, like Sophie just came up with this like chord progression like right away, and that was like the basis for like everything else. So having even that like small starting block to be like, let's write something around this part, just made it like so much easier. And yeah, it was so cool. I had such a good time doing it. And then yeah, I still got to do like backup vocals, so I feel like I still got to do like everything I wanted to do. And I don't know, I had a great time doing it.
Nice.
That was awesome.
You had told us, or told me, I don't remember exactly, earlier, that when you did the roast, that going into it, you were, not stressing about it at all. But the moment you got up there and you were on the mic, you said how just nervous and anxious you got, which is kind of interesting to me because your band Carcosa, you guys tour all the time. You play live shows in front of hundreds and hundreds of people all the time. So what was the difference between doing a live show like that, where I'm sure you're in your zone, you're feeling comfortable, and then doing the roast to where you just became so nervous and so anxious? And also, do you think that was the hardest challenge for the whole week for you specifically?
That's a good question. Yeah, it was definitely not how I expected to feel. Like the whole day that day, I was chill. I was just like hanging out, being like, oh, this is the last day to hang out with everybody. I was like working on some of my own videos. I wrote a few jokes. I was like, this will be no problem. I feel good about this. And I kind of just like wasn't really thinking about it at all. And then the second that I walked and stood behind the mic in front of this room of like now friends, I was like infinitely more nervous than I've ever been standing on stage with like a guitar in front of me, just being like, I think, by the way, thank you for editing it out, but I'm pretty sure I literally went up and was like,
yeah, maybe a little bit, yeah.
And then I think I looked at you and I was like, oh God, this is a horrible start. And then I just restarted. So thank you for editing that out, because I was just like, fuck. But yeah, it was a weird, I don't know if I would say it was the hardest challenge. It was definitely the most unexpected, like in the terms of like how I felt after I did it or while I was doing it. I was like, I was not expecting to feel the way I did. And I think the reason is like, it's something that I had never done before. Like, I'm not a stand-up comedian at all, and my roast definitely reflects that.
Sure.
So yeah, just doing something that I've never done before in front of people, and also, in the back of your mind knowing like, like hundreds of thousands of people are going to see this, and this is going to be really awkward. So it just kind of all hit me at the same time. And also Drusif just like killed me.
Oh, he should be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. So especially going after him, I was just like, fuck.
Oh no, were you after Drusif? Oh.
Yeah. And he had a joke about me, and then was like, on that note, Andrew's up next. And I was just like, fuck. I loved it, don't get me wrong, his joke was hilarious, but I was just like,
lined you up, put you right in the headspace.
It was good. It was well played. And I think he was saying, like, the whole time before his roast, he was like, fuck, I really hope I'm up before Bano. Like, I have this joke that, like, needs to be before him. And it worked out in his favor. And I was just like, damn.
Yeah, that was a good one. Sophie, I gotta say, your roast I thought was particularly kind of funny. I enjoyed it, and you kind of just got up there and called all of America fat, which I thought was hilarious. And then the send off joke of why do you all talk like that? Yeah. I thought was pretty good. Have you ever done any type of like stand up stuff before? How was doing that for you? And then just same question that I've asked everybody else. What was your experience like? I know initially when I had first contacted you, you were a little bit anxious about flying because I know that, I don't like flying either. It sucks. And luckily Bradley was able to kind of like coerce you into it. And,
sorry,
having a travel buddy definitely helps. But are you glad you came? What was like something that maybe you're proud of that you overcame in yourself to do this, and then going away from it, any memories or anything that you've taken from it?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Where to start? All right. So
a lot of questions.
First of all, we'll start with the roasting thing. No, I am not used to roasting people, and I'm not good at being mean to them, like on cue, like that, like planning it. No, we have a running joke where I said something really rude to Boehner, and I was like, why do you fucking look like that? And it's just been, I just said it, and I was just serious about it. Like, I took a really dumb photo of him and was just like, why the fuck do you look like that? Anyway, I can do it when I'm not trying, but when you give me the challenge of it, the whole day I kept trying, and I was like, I don't have a bad word to say about anybody here. And I don't want to be mean to anyone here. So I just thought I'll insult all of America instead.
There you go.
Lauren helped me a little bit, like with the century egg line. That was Lauren credit. yeah, I'm not used to doing that stuff, and I'm not quick like with comebacks or anything like that. Like I'm generally quite a slow person, I feel like, especially when it comes to like humor and stuff. I'm like, it'll take me 5 minutes to get something and I'll go, oh, so yeah. So I'm glad it went the way it did. I think what helped chill me out was when I walked up and the fucking music stand and the mic stand went whoosh, and everybody just started laughing, and I was like, oh, they're already laughing, so it should be fine. So yeah, I'm glad with the way that it played out. But I actually like the difference to you, Baina. Like I've done a lot of guitar clinics and stuff. Like, so I've often had to stand in front of a room like that and talk anyway. So I guess I kind of just tapped into that zone, which is how I got through it. It still makes me really anxious, but I just muddled my way through. But yeah, with the mansion itself, like, yeah, when Jared initially said, I was really nervous to come, and I was like very on the fence about whether I was going to do it. And I'm very glad that I did. Bradley basically said, like, come on, like, you get this one shot. This is like a once in a lifetime thing. You have to kind of like take these opportunities. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And I think I just went, oh, fuck it, go on then. And I was like, I just ignored it when it was like on the horizon. I was like, oh, I know this thing is coming up and I've got this like long flight and I'm shitting myself about it. I'm really scared. But then like when it finally arrived, I was ready for it. And it was the best week of my life. So thank you for asking me to come. Like, I'm so glad I did. And if I didn't go, I just, oh my God, imagine all of those amazing memories I would have like missed out on. I can't believe it. Like, it would have been the biggest loss like ever. So yeah, had the best time. And I think more than anything, like, kind of what everybody has been saying, like a few people kind of like filmed videos when they were there, and I didn't go in with anything planned. Honestly, I've been on a burnout for about 3 years now. So I was like, I don't fucking know. I was like, me just being there, you know, that's already like a big challenge. And I can't comprehend anything else right now, basically. So I kind of just gave myself permission to be present for once in my life and just really enjoy the experience rather than being on my phone or on my camera the whole time or being behind a camera. I just wanted to live in the moment. And I'm really glad that I did that. And I can kind of like live it through other people's videos and vlogs and obviously the series itself and stuff. But next time, if there is a next time, if we go again, I would definitely then be in a more of a place to be like, okay, I'm ready to do some content now. I know what to expect. So yeah. But yeah, best week of my life. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think because of, you know, saying yes to doing something that's like out of your comfort zone like this, going forward for other opportunities, do you think that you're going to be more open?
100%. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like I really needed that push. Basically, I've never done anything like that far out of my comfort zone before. And I was just like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't feel like I'm like stable. And I think I even said that to you. I was like, I don't think I'm like mentally stable enough to cope with this. I think I said that. And now I'm just like, holy shit, the thing that you were scared of like turned out to be the best thing ever. So just grab every opportunity by the horns and just fucking go for it, because it might turn out to be incredible, and it did. So yeah,
hell yeah, I agree with that. You know, someone once said that 99% of success is just saying yes and showing up.
Yeah.
So for people to, you know, if you want to succeed, just say yes, just show up. Speaking of Dylan, so you filled in last minute, and because Tony from Dragged Under, my manager Tony, who you're drumming for now. Congratulations, by the way. Been seeing pictures and videos of that. That looks super, super cool. So he hit me up and said, I have this guy, I think he'd be great for it. And so I was like, you know, I'm down if you're vouching for him, like, because obviously I had not known you since or before then. And so you coming into this, killer drummer, by the way, phenomenal drummer. But you're not really a content creator. You don't really do much social media stuff. And then, you know, I come in and say, hey, do you want to go into a house with 14 other content creators and YouTubers and do a bunch of musical challenges of people you probably have never met, you don't know. I think you mentioned that you were a fan of Angels for a while, or, you know, you had known of Angel for a while. But So what was that like for you coming into this kind of world, the content creation YouTube world, when you really didn't know anyone, last minute, like a week or two beforehand, and really no prep time at all? So what was that like for you? What was something that you really enjoyed? What was a good experience, and maybe something that you learned coming out of it?
Honestly, kind of going back to like everybody else when they were just super nervous coming in, like, because I come into new camps all the time and I'm fine with it. When I walked into I Prevail, it was fine. When I walked into Pierceville, it was fine. And even Seven Dust, it was like, hey, what's up? I'm Dylan. And it's like, I came into this so goddamn nervous. And I have no idea why. I think it was the content creator side of things. Like, man, all these guys are gonna be like, why the hell is this noob here? What, like, who's this fuck, I think I was talking to Bana about it. Like, he was the one I probably talked to most about it throughout the week. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't feel like I belong here. And he's like, oh, you're doing great. And everyone was just so goddamn nice. So it kind of really put my nerves at ease the first day when we all kind of like got into the same room together. Like, okay, now let's all do what we know best, and that's music. So coming into it, like, everybody super nervous, super anxious. But as the week went on, to me, I felt like it was just like this grid that just kept going up. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I love everybody here. Mm-hmm. I've been a fan of yours for a while. I used to watch your videos all the time back in high school. And like Angel, like you said, Anthony Vincent, I think, was the only one I was familiar with other than you guys. But it was great, and now my social media numbers are kind of growing from this. I'm like, fuck, I really want to ride this train. And yeah, dude, I already passed like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which ain't a drop in the bucket compared to you guys. But I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. I want to keep doing this. So like now I've gotten like a drum template made. I've got a new camera. I'm setting up like my studio here at my house. It's really all coming together. And I think that's because of Musician Mansion. It's like, you know what? I can do this. It's like, I've traveled the world. I travel the country with different people all the time. I can do this too. And that's like, it's something I want to do. So I think that's what I've really taken from Musician Mansion is the content creator side of things.
That's awesome, man. I gotta say, the first one, like hitting 1,000 subscribers, at least for me on YouTube, I was more motivated and excited to pursue music and to pursue, whatever content or music that I wanted to do at 1,000. I think I was more excited for that than I was when I hit 1 million.
Oh,
and so like, you say, it's a small drop in a bucket to people who have a lot, but it's like, that's still a lot. You know what I mean? And it's a cool place to be because you have that kind of level of, well, where's the ceiling? How far can I go? How far can I take this? Do I want to be the next Avenged Sevenfold drummer? Do I want to be the next Slipknot drummer? You know what I mean? Like how far do I want to go with this? And you have that sense of kind of, this magical beginning or whatever. So yeah, so that's cool, man. I thought you killed it. I thought you did an amazing job. I think one of my favorite things from the show, which unfortunately was not captured on the camera cruise cameras, but I think you might have had a small video of it on your channel, was you and Angel improv jamming for like 4 minutes. That
so good.
I walked in and I saw that from, I think, about the beginning all the way until you guys like just ended the song, and it sounded like you guys had been playing together for 10 years and you knew exactly where you were going with it. You guys you locked in and you flowed beautifully, and I wish we could have captured that moment on like the cameras, like the legit cameras, but I gotta say that was really impressive. That was a really cool thing to see, just like how that just worked. Like, that's so cool. Music can just be like that sometimes.
Because he was the first person I ever jammed with. I was like fucking 6 years old jamming in our garage, and he was a bassist guitarist from the 80s. So that's all we used to do. Every Friday night, he'd come home from work. He's like, all right, you ready? And I'd be at my drum kit ready to go. And we just start jamming, man. Everything from like Scorpions to his own songs that he did. And it's just like, ever since I kind of took that from him, and I've been able to do that with a lot of people, and Angel probably being the most influential one. Once I did that, I was like, this is fucking crazy. I just jammed with Angel Vivaldi for like 10 minutes of just nonsense, and it sounded great. And like high school me would be freaking out right now because I used to listen to Angel all the fucking time. So it was great. It was one of the best experiences for me on the show as well.
That's really cool, man. I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like you guys just came together, which, you know, who knew? Obviously, when I put these groups together, it was like it's gonna work or it's not.
It really did though. Like I can't imagine. Like I'm rewatching the season, like the whole thing at the moment, and I just went through like Greystone's performance on the first day, and I was like, yo, I don't know what the fuck I would have done had I have ended up in that band. Like I genuinely
I would have been right at home.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes into my next question. So if you had to pick another member that is not in Skylimit that was at the mansion to be in Skylimit, who would you have wanted to add as an additional? So it's you five, and then one other person from the mansion.
That's tough.
That can join Skylimit. Who would you want?
I think
I just have to go through them all in my head now.
Yeah. You know the bass YouTube dude, Charles Bertald?
Yes.
He's fucking insane bassist, and he's a super cool guy. Like that would have been cool. Then Boehner would have been relieved of bass duties.
I thought you meant someone else in the mansion.
Someone at the mansion.
Oh,
someone who was already there.
All right, disregard them.
Someone specifically at the mansion.
It's tough to say. Like I'm trying.
Skylimit is closed.
We're close. It's hard to figure out like what was our group missing. Like I'm trying to, but I really can't.
We're just perfect.
We're just the perfect band.
I think it's so weird though, because like I looked at us as well, and you know, through the busking challenge and stuff, we're definitely, I would say, the introverted lot. Like I don't want to say serious musicians because everyone there was, but like we were the fucking tryhards.
Yeah,
I came up to you and you were like, you guys wrote a real song, and I was like, yeah, that's what you fucking asked us
fucking
to do.
nerds.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
And I would say, I was gonna say someone like Justin to bring the to stir up the energy a bit, but then again, I don't know if it would have worked. We all would have been like, we can't match your energy, bro. Like, we can't match it.
It's a hard one to match.
I almost wonder what we would have come up with if Rudy was in our band. Because Rudy brings I know that
dance
I know.
routines.
Hear me out.
Choreography.
Yeah.
His amazing ass shaking. But like I feel like he brings this like jazz element to things, and I don't know. I'm gonna go with Rudy.
Okay.
What about some like dual vocals with Anthony? You could do some like rapping, like Evanescence style or something. That'd be cool.
Sure.
I would go the complete opposite, and I would say, like, I mean, biased, obviously, but I would have loved to write something with, like, Nick Nocturnal, because I've known him forever, Nick. Or Austin as well, because, again, same thing, I've known him forever, so it would have also just made me feel more comfortable, because I'd be like, I know people already, which is how I felt with Lauren, to be fair, but those two are probably, like, the first ones that come to mind, just because I've known them for a long time, and I'm very much more familiar with like the types of things they already write, which to me helps, like having like at least going into something with like this is what these people would probably want, but at the same time, I mean, who fucking knows what would have came out if it was that way,
right?
You know, so I don't know, that's my opinion.
Hell yeah. It's a tough question. I think you guys really did have like the perfect group in a sense for what you guys were able to pull off in such a short amount of time. It's not an easy task. So the next question is, will you guys be doing more songs, even if it's just recording them remotely, and putting out more songs under Skylimit? If you are, how many, and when's the tour?
Tour's already announced, bro.
What a loaded question. Yeah, we're playing El Corazon tomorrow. I thought you were a guest listener.
We're at Wembley Stadium this week, so if you can come. Yeah.
Bring your raincoat.
Well, something we've kind of been talking about today, actually. A certain producer, I don't know if I should say who, I've been talking to. I think he seems really interested in pursuing the band. So I think of something we talk about a little bit more. Maybe I can't speak for the rest of us, but I'd be willing to. I'd be willing to jam out a lot more songs, put something out, even an album, EP. Who knows? Maybe a show.
I think the idea is that
yeah,
we see if we can
have
still
to.
capture
Yeah,
that
we
magic
kinda have
like
to.
remotely.
I really think
Totally do it.
I think as an extension to Musician Mansion, we should all like do like a reunion and have a big show in like fucking LA or something, and all three
Like all three bands?
just do their one song for like half an hour on repeat.
On repeat. Play the
The
same song.
changeovers would be a nightmare.
Greystone will just be storyboarding.
We all got tinnitus after that. Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
10
yeah,
minutes before the set. Okay, so I don't have a song too. Let's just see what happens.
No, I think we've pretty much come to the conclusion that more songs will 100% be happening. It's more so like, how are we going to do that? And, you know, and when?
Yes.
You know, I'm
Everybody
leaving
busy
tomorrow, so
Yeah.
but I know that we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to freaking do it. We have
Most
to.
definitely.
All posts are definitely
Skylimit.
interested.
Skylimit.
Yeah,
What's
for
Let's do anything. The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah, it's
back to
gonna
what
be-
you
Oh, sorry.
going back to what you said earlier, do you think that there would be a difference between that in-person chemistry as opposed to trying to do it all separately and then combine it
It's
together?
a different writing process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Completely different writing process because like my band personally have only written remotely. So when I came to the mansion and we wrote in a room, I was like, whoa, this is different. Like, this is
Yeah.
kind of weird. So I'd be really interested to see what the fuck would happen if we do it
Yeah.
remotely.
I think
mean,
it's
we
less-
have no choice. We have no choice because we live so far away.
Yeah.
But
I've done it
It's
both
about not
ways.
being in person. I think it's more about not having time constraints. I think having time
Yeah.
constraints was like a big part of it. You know, when you
We
had
could-
I think we worked well under the pressure though.
Why don't we
was
just
going
do another 5-hour challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
Just
ask.
like
is,
hop in a Discord call
Stream
and be
it,
like, all
yeah.
right, let's do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there was some aspect of the pressure that
100%.
created
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Definitely.
thing?
We were
Definitely.
like, we just fucking tunnel vision. We need
Yeah.
a song. Get us the song. Let's go. Like,
Right.
I think a lot of like cruxes that musicians have is not being able to commit to an idea, and it like forced us to commit
Indecisiveness.
and just like be at peace with it and move on. And I
Yeah.
think that there was a beauty in that for sure.
Yeah. I do that with like my band as well. Like there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, like we have to have a new song by this date. Like it's not
Damn.
necessarily 5 hours, but it's like, okay, like this week we are writing 3 new songs. Like let's see what happens. And like that's the goal. If it doesn't happen, like whatever. But just having that, even if like you kind of know it's like a bullshit time constraint, there's something that happens in your brain, I feel like, when you have this like limit where it's like you have to do
A
this
deadline.
by this day. It just helps you to just it forces you to just do it. And then like obviously if it's like not perfect, you can adjust it later, but it helps you at least like
Go for it.
it just makes you do it, you know? Otherwise, like as with most content creators or musicians as well, like you could just work on the same idea over and over and over because it's never perfect. Whereas if you just give yourself a deadline, it's like sometimes that's better because even if it's not perfect, you're going to make something that was like of that moment.
Yeah.
100%.
I would agree with that. I would really agree with that.
Yeah, it's
So
like so
we
many
can-
musicians always say like, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist." I don't think it's necessarily that. It's like people are just indecisive. Like,
Yeah.
they don't want to commit. They're afraid to
Yeah.
commit to an idea. and move on.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're like, what if there's one that's better than this and you can just write forever? Like, and then never get the song finished. I'm so guilty of that. Like, just
Yeah.
fucking overwriting as well because you don't have a deadline. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And especially for like making not necessarily like, you know, the song that we wrote wasn't like super easy, but it wasn't super complicated. And I think like if we had way more time, we probably
Yeah.
would have added like a bunch of extra things that clearly like wouldn't
I
have
wouldn't change a
necessarily
thing about
made-
it though.
I agree,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying if we had 10 hours, we probably
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah,
But is that
yeah.
a good thing?
Overcook it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I often think that overcomplicating things makes it less digestible to most people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of clutters up the space. Whereas you
Absolutely.
guys really left like you had in the verses, you know, that lead harmonic guitar going on, kind of like just something really simple. We had the bass and the drums. Lauren was really shining there, and then the chorus was just like this belting voice. And then you guys had your moment to shine with the solo, so you threw that in there. You had those moments, but if you were just like, oh, we should do like, this crazy syncopated chug, and then we should do 9 chord changes here instead of just, 3 or 4, it could have completely taken away from it. So
it probably would have changed the vibe of the whole song as well so much. I think the reason the chorus is so catchy is because it's poppy.
Yeah.
And it's like really, it's like what, like 4 chords or some shit, like a classic. It's a recipe that works.
There's nothing fighting it. There's nothing fighting the hook, and I think that's something that a lot of musicians, whether in metal or not, that they kind of struggle with. Of like, well, I can play all this stuff and we can make it super crazy and technical, but sometimes it works, and sometimes you end up fighting the part that would be the hook, the part that would catch people's attention, which is normally...
It depends who you're writing for, doesn't it? Like whether you want to... Which is why I think like with Greystone, they wrote for themselves. And they were like, I don't give a fuck, we're just going to do it. And we were like, what would be a commercially acceptable song? Here we go.
I think we embraced the... we embraced the like commercial like band parody very quickly, but I don't regret a thing. Like,
neither.
The coolest part for me was like when we got all the tracks together to get mixed, like we didn't change or add anything. The only thing we really added was like
at home, you mean?
Yeah, like for the studio recording, like we didn't adjust anything. We didn't like restructure anything. We just added glass breaks and like I put harmonies on it.
There's something in the chorus. It's like I've never asked the question. Now is a good time. It's like, look into my eyes, and then it goes, Someone says something. It sounds like someone goes sick. It sounds like someone goes sick.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I've never
listened to it. Fucking yeah, in the chorus. It sounds like
slip a little
someone's going sick. Yeah, that's what it fucking sounds like to me.
That's
and I was
so
like,
funny.
Lauren, did you add something? Like, I don't know.
Is that our version of like, wake me up?
No, it sounds
so
like someone is
funny.
literally going sick or like
Really?
safe or like something like
That's
that.
so funny.
Oh,
I mean, I know I added like a couple of small things, like just like a choir like pad and like dissonant guitar shit.
Sure.
I
But
need the
like,
stems. I need to know what it says.
That's all
What's
kind of
happening?
like production stuff. Just
yeah,
to
it
make
wasn't
it,
like anything that changed like the riffs or the structure.
I didn't
It was
notice
all
until we
identical.
released it though, and then I was in my
Yeah.
car and I was like, "What the fuck is that? Like, who is saying this?"
when the first chorus hit,
It
kicks
comes in every chorus, like the first time round. Yes,
It's got to be some
Listen to it,
impact
you'll
or
hear
some
it.
glass break or
probably,
something.
It's like it's.
I've never noticed.
It comes in on the third beat, I think. Yeah. Listen for it. You'll hear it now. You'll fucking hear it.
I don't hear anything.
You-
I don't hear it.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I have all the stems, and I've never heard that before.
Yeah, maybe I'm just like writing it in my head.
so
Like,
yeah,
maybe
that's
I'm
right.
pretty good.
Maybe you just
I
want to
think
sit
maybe
there.
you're just hearing
I
me
dunno.
say that, 'cause
Weird.
sick is like every 5th word in my vocabulary. So
Sick.
Hell yeah. Yeah, comment down below if you guys hear sick or not.
I fucking hear it. Yeah,
Sophie.
it's there. I'm telling you, it's there.
All right, I have one more question for you guys. I think we should talk about it. So day 4.
oh shit. I was
knew
like,
this
wait,
was
what was
coming.
day 4?
Yeah, obviously.
Busking Day, the peak of the villain arc for Skylimit. Who came up with that idea? And in hindsight, do you wish that you had not done that? Maybe tried to busk a little bit more. Do you find it funny? Do you stand by it? Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay. All right. So, okay. There was a moment,
First of all,
and I'm not blaming this on you, Dylan, because I regret nothing. You said, I just have 100 in my pocket. And when you say those things to me, I'm immediately scheming. So I was just like, all right, why don't we just like embrace this fucking parody and just go full fucking send? Because when we won the video challenge, in my confessionals, like I committed to this like asshole character. I fully committed. And there was like on day 3, like the physical challenges, that entire day, even in my confessionals, I completely committed to it. Yeah. So there was like an underlying storyline. So I was like, guys, we just, why don't we just fucking go full send with it? And there was a whole skit that we did where I'm like in the grocery store, I'm like asking the cashier, and they're like, you can't film in here. Then we like go to the bank, and then I like start talking about how you have to invest in yourself and you can't make money if you don't spend money. And, like, there was like this whole fucking thing that I think a lot of like no one really saw, and then we got gifted with that church group, and we did a lot of filming with them too, and
Journey for Jesus,
and I don't know, like I said earlier, like I was like for 5 minutes once some of the comments rolled in, I was like, oh fuck.
When we got back to the mansion, even I was like, I feel like I regret us doing this already, but it's too fucking late. We're here now. Like,
yeah, I felt bad that we won. Like 313 was way too much.
Yeah.
And then I was hoping that someone would have made more than that, and then they would have won off the bat. Then you guys would have found the footage.
Yeah,
and that's what I was personally hoping for.
Yeah,
but then when we like really overshot the number, I was like, oh fuck,
we won by like $200. Like, ooh,
yeah.
So I think it played out like as a reality TV show should, and if
people
are salty
immediately
about
hated
it,
us after that. They were
no,
like,
I don't think that's true at all. Like, I think that there was like 10 seconds where everyone was like, fuck you, and then like after they thought about it, like everyone there is a content creator, so once they kind of like process it, like, oh, this is going to be fucking
the content,
hilarious. Like they understood what we were doing, at least like in terms of who was there.
Jimena and Sunfire and Rudy, I thought were going to stab us. I thought they were going to stab us for like 10 minutes.
They were so dead set on
they were
winning
really
that day,
upset
weren't they?
though. They were, and they deserved to. They really deserved to. I felt so bad as well because like I personally thought that day 3 was a joke, and that Grasshopper should have won that with like the amount of time Rudy was in the ring and then Drusif eating the fucking sentry egg. I was like, nah, this is not right. So then when I saw their faces, like, no, dude, like,
I felt bad.
I was like, oh my god, like, we're horrible people, we're fucking terrible, we're going to hell. Like,
I mean, I don't know.
I was personally like all for it because like Try Hard did like the first few days so much. I was like, fuck this, It's only my second time in America. I want to go and see some of not Boston. Seattle.
I was dying when we got to the busking. I had to pee so badly from the moment we got there. We couldn't find me a bathroom, and
Welcome
then I
to
like
Seattle.
The jet lag started setting in real bad, and I was like flagging, and I was
fading.
like, "Can you fucking get me to a chair?" So when you suggested, like, I was up for anything to just have a little sit down. I'm not gonna lie, like, and we played like what was it, Numb that we played?
Yeah,
we played it.
We fucking
for
ages,
a hot minute. Like,
and
we
Guns
played
N' Roses. We played loads of shit, and it wasn't shown so much in the actual cut. But like, we gave it a good go, and people just don't fucking like us. Like on the streets, they were just like, no, we don't get it. You like, no.
Busking is like a whole other ball game. Like I've done videos on my channel before where I busked like with fucking deathcore, like just guitar, not screaming. And like I think I made like $5 in Vancouver.
How much did we actually make about that?
Like $13.
$13 or $3 or something like that.
It was 13 because our total
really
was $3.13.
Yeah, it was awful. So fucking kudos to the other two bands because they did incredible.
They
Especially
busted
like
their ass.
deathcore on acoustic and getting that much money. Like what?
The secondhand embarrassment of that was like, fuck.
we sucked.
Oh my god,
we fucking sucked.
I was like, I want to die.
I know.
I personally enjoyed it. It was good fun. I think that day was like my favorite out of the whole week. I loved it.
No, it was fun. I think like Sophie was fading. Dylan like broke his back or his neck
the day before.
I broke my
ankle.
foot. I literally could not walk.
You were hobbling.
Like, I was hobbling pretty much for the rest of the week. So I mean, I'm not giving excuses, but
Let's be honest. We thought it would be funny,
and it was
like
yeah.
Sure.
And the whole like
it-
the whole Jesus thing was like very weird to me.
Oh,
That took me off guard.
Yeah.
Like we don't really have that sort of thing over here.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a wind up at first. It's like it's Jared round the corner like laughing or something.
I did as well. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Really?
Is this for real? Like people do this? This is
I
insane.
gave the guy $10 to go.
You could see Lauren was like generally like, oh, like genuinely like,
I
oh wow,
tried.
like
I was
listening.
like,
And me and Bradley
wow.
were just like staring at this guy, like, because we just don't see it in Britain.
I was
Like,
there
we
with
were
like my
just
black
like,
metal shirt and my tutu on. It's
yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe that happened. I was just like, this is.
Did you see
this
in the
is
comments
insane.
that somebody recognized him and his name is
Really?
Bryce and they went to school with him or something?
Oh, really?
Bryce,
Of course
you
they-
made it. Like, yeah.
record? Bryce knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
You told him.
explained like
Full disclosure.
this is for the bit, and you can be in the bit if you help us. And he's like, totally, I'll do it if you guys
You
just
listen
hear me
to my
out.
story.
Listen to
Yeah.
my story, and like nothing I said at the fucking end was a lie.
No.
All of-
If you
yeah.
watch it
It
back,
was
it's
true.
so funny. Lauren's like, the way that you choose all your words is so funny. He's
love
like,
that for
what did
you."
you hear? Oh, the guy put the money in the best. Like, it was all like very specific. It's so funny.
Very carefully treaded. I also like that he helped you lie, which doesn't seem very Christian to me.
Yeah.
It was also funny because
We corrupted him.
Yeah, in the cut after he gets done talking, Dylan goes, "Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird, but yeah, thanks, man." So funny. I will say that like cutting down the content was so hard because obviously you guys, you know, like Lauren, you said you had that whole arc where you went into the bank and you were talking and stuff like that, and then so there's all that going on, and then there's, you know, 3 or 4 hours of Grasshopper, 3 or 4 hours of Greystone, and it's like, how do I combine this into something that's like less than an hour that doesn't carry on too long? That so like I wish that I could have just had like a 2-hour episode or something, but I
Uncut.
feel like
Well, yeah.
it would have been a little bit much because I was
People would have
Definitely-
lost it. They would have
Yeah.
not followed it properly. So
I
anyway.
definitely was seeing comments of people that were like, "Oh, more music. You should have shown more jamming and blah blah blah," which is totally fair. But then I was seeing comments that were like, you know, you probably could have done sub 30-minute episodes, and it would have been like more, you know, concise and more like put together. So it was tough to like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
do we put all this in there and
Mixed.
add 15 minutes to it? Do we do it? You know, like how do we go about
Yeah.
this? So
Dude, I can't believe
I think it was amazing.
You
You
guys
guys, did
edited
so
that.
fucking good.
Like,
yeah.
insane. Like
Really
the amount
well.
of the amount of footage, I can't even fucking imagine
much.
the work.
How much was it
oh
every
my
day? Was it like
God.
how many hard drives was it every day?
I mean, we had, I think it was like 2 terabytes a day, but we had four cameras, sometimes 5, and it was about 5 to 6 hours per camera. So
Fuck,
20, 25
That's
hours
insane.
just to watch. all the
Yeah.
footage.
I'm so surprised that you guys got it edited this side of the year. Like, I didn't think we
Yeah.
would see it till next year, if I'm honest. Like,
Yeah.
It seemed like you got quicker as you went on. Because I swear, like,
Yeah.
it took you ages to do like the first couple, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're done. Like, what?
I think
It's
what
like
had
speed
happened,
ran the last ones.
yeah, that's what it felt like.
yeah. So I mean, kind of what happened is going into it, I over optimistically I was talking to Kevin, and I was like, we should try to get this out in like 6 weeks. Like do like a 6-week edit. And then I think
Jesus.
as we were going into it, Kevin was working on day 1, and then we were about 4 or 5 weeks into it, and he was like halfway through day 1, and I was like, okay, I need to fucking come in and like start doing a shit ton of this to help him, because he obviously has like so much going on in his own time. And so once I started building the cake, then he came in and threw the icing on essentially. So like I watched all the footage, which was kind of cool actually, because I wasn't there for a lot of what was happening for the challenges. So I was like kind of reliving it through your guys' perspective, seeing for the first time how you guys came up with the songs and the music video. And so it was actually kind of fun for me, but I did not want to, like, it was such a daunting task on my shoulders, and I was just like, I want to get it out and just get it done. So I think for like a month straight, just 12-hour days, just grinding it, just trying to make it interesting. And then I would pass it off to Kevin, and he would throw that last 10% of really, adding those little moments that made it feel like a legit show, and like tightening up little tiny things that like I'm not the best at doing. So I think that's kind of why it was that way, where at first it was a little slow, and then we were like, we got to get it out. So
did you make the music on it? Like, because there is some genty fucking stuff on there, and I was wondering, I was like, did Jared write this? Like, where did it come from? Because
the music it's all from like Soundstripe, which is like a copyright free website.
I wasn't sure. It sounded like something like you would write a lot of the time.
Some of it.
I mean, it's your show, so it makes sense, right? But like,
I tried to find some that would fit, obviously with kind of the audience. And
I loved all of the sound effects. It was like very,
or like the
very
fucking Inception
fucking
horns.
good.
Like Rudy walking in the room, it's like, Bwah!
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin says that 10% was probably 30 hours extra on top of the other edits, which is great. Yeah, each episode.
Both just like blew it out of the water. Like it's such a like just making videos in itself, but to take on an entirely different type of media, like a reality show, that is so like you guys should be super proud of yourselves.
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
do you feel like
it's
if
crazy.
season 2 happens, do you reckon you would like outsource all the editing, or is it like your baby that you want to sort of like oversee yourself?
I haven't quite decided that, because there's a little bit of both. There's a little bit of me that's saying I never want to do that again. I never want to do that again. And then there's part of me that's like, well, I have a very specific idea for like
what you
the vision.
want.
So
yeah,
I don't know if I would. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. If we do a season 2 where I will be a part of the edit, but maybe not the entire edit, something like that. Like I said, watching the footage was fun, and just cutting out little 10 seconds here, 30 seconds here, 5 seconds here. This is a good moment. That's a good moment. And then I think the hard part for me was like, okay, where do I start? I have 3 hours of good moments. Now, how do I slam this together into
impossible? Like there's no right way. You could come up with so many different versions of the show just from things you didn't fucking use. Like,
to be fair, though, I feel like you did like a pretty like true to how I felt. I thought it was gonna look. Like there was no part of the show I watched where I was like, oh, like
that's not how
was
it
like
was.
Not even close to how it was. Like there were some parts that were like dramatized, of course.
Music
or even
helps a lot.
For sure, but I'm just
drama
saying, like,
effect.
That I did like Jared, gent shit posting. I did like a Ask Me Anything on there just because I was fucking bored, and like there was so many people asking like, oh, like was it actually like this in real life, or like people who. It was also funny like seeing how like the audience interpreted certain things when I was like, oh, it wasn't that way at all. And
I agree with
like,
that.
people thought we fucking hated each other.
Wow.
People being like,
no,
Lauren and Sophie are spoiled brats.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When Lauren said you weren't allowed to play Drop F, I could tell that you were very upset. I was
You
like,
were
what?
very hurt.
Yeah, it was. I think it's very. Yeah, it's interesting to see how different people, like how the audience perceive you. Some people fucking loved it and really got it, and other people were like, "This person is terrible," blah 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 blah. And I'm like, but in actual fact, like there was zero ego. Like when the cameras were off, there was no ego, and everybody was just having the fucking time of their lives.
Yeah.
Like there was no like hostile like drama going on. It was just fucking good vibes the whole time. Like there was not a single time.
That proves that the editing was so good, because the idea of editing, like tell a story and like add a narrative on top, and it really nailed that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've been getting a lot of.
I do think.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying I'm getting a lot of hate messages saying about a comment I made about deathcore. You guys are taking this really
the zeros and ones.
Like, I don't really hate that
because I was like. Have you like you're in a band with a guy who's in a deathcore band? Like obviously you're fucking joking.
Yeah.
I think, and also people were convinced that we were actually going to take the win with the cheating, and we weren't going to confess. Even though we fucking confessed. I don't get it. I'm like, we literally confessed. I said we have a confession to make.
So there is a confessional of Baina talking about that and saying initially you weren't going to say anything, but then when you saw how many daggers Humana was giving you with her eyes, you were like, okay, we have to confess.
Girl,
We have to. We
win.
can't take that win. I wanted Grasshopper. Like, there's no way maybe if Greystone won, maybe we would have not confessed. I'm kidding, but no, like I said, like.
They're all too fucking nice. There's no way we could lie. Like, there's just so the guilt hit immediately. Like,
I was ready to run with it, but like after I saw like how fucking heartbroken the two girls were, like, damn, they invested a lot into this.
Yeah,
they were so tired.
Yeah.
Everyone was so fucking haggard at the end of that day as well. Like everyone's hair was all crazy and it was hot, and they'd been working really hard, and we were just there, we sat in a bar, that's. Yeah. Yeah, there was no way we were actually going to take that win.
Dylan just sitting there getting the fucking tequilas in while everyone's like crying it out.
Dylan's like, another.
You ordered food.
Another.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Another.
I wish we were allowed to film in there.
I know we weren't allowed, and like, oh god, Nate was saying.
Are you talking about the bar?
Yeah.
Nate was saying how he wished he could have filmed.
Yeah.
I did wonder why he left us to it, and I was like, oh, bye then.
Yeah.
Well, no, he said that he asked them and he wasn't allowed in with his camera. So that's why he asked us to send him like the Instagram pictures and all that.
Okay. Makes sense.
Well, Skylimit, I love you all to death. Thank you so much for doing this podcast. I'm looking forward to potentially hearing more songs from you guys. Before we go, is there anything else that you all would like to say? What are you up to? I know, Lauren, you're going on tour soon.
Tomorrow,
you're leaving for a Europe tour with Halo Scene, correct?
Yes.
Very cool. And you can follow everyone, Lauren, Bradley, Baina, Sophie, Dylan on Instagram, YouTube, wherever. Check them out. We'll put links in the comment or the description down below. And thanks again for doing this. Is there anything that you all would like to say before we go?
What's the Skylimit? Fucking.
There it is.
Oh.
Greystone sucks.
I love how Brad is committed to this bit, and his glasses have been
we had a joke. We had a joke.
I've got such a fucking headache right now. Like, where is
that
my
we were gonna.
I'm dying.
We were all supposed to wear sunglasses, and I'm very glad that I'm not the only one who didn't do that.
I
forgot. I was like, oh shit, it's time. Never mind. Yeah. No. As far as anything else to say, just thank you so much for fucking having the idea in the first place, but having us there and putting us together, because oh man, you have no idea like how much it means. I don't think
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so
and
much
the crew
for coming,
as well.
obviously.
The crew fucking
the
smashed
crew
it.
too.
Yes, the crew.
All hail the crew.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Could not have done it. Could not have done it without the crew. Could not have done it without all you guys and just being as cool as you are. But yes, I know it's 1 a.m. for the Brits.
Oh shit!
So it's getting late, and I'm going to let you guys go. Hang with us for one moment so we can upload after this. But thank you so much, Skylimit, for joining us for this podcast. Unfortunately,
Thank
Austin
you.
could not be here. I don't know where he is. I did text him and tell him to be here at 4 o'clock. It's now 5:30.
He got wind of Bradley's sign and was like, fuck this.
Be on a Skylimit podcast. But anyways, thank you so much, Skylimit. I love you guys, and talk soon.
Yeah.
Boom! There he is. Whoa! Where did you come from?
Did you just materialize me?
That's crazy. It is time, Austin, for the after show.
I just got here. Why didn't you teleport me here before the show started?
Hit it!
It's time for the after show.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching that podcast with Skylimit. Hope you did enjoy it. We are going to have Grasshopper, the entirety of Grasshopper, on next Monday. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
And so this is the after show, and this is the part of the show where we interact with our patrons over on Patreon. We answer your questions or read your comments. If you want to be part of the after show, you can click the link in the description, go to our Patreon, and we can talk to you and get extra perks and stuff like that. So, anyways, this one comes from Dennis Byram. He says, "What's up, Dookie Dingles?
Dookie Dingros.
How has the evolution of your vocal/instrumental styles changed over the years? And are there any new vocal styles or instruments you would like to explore in the future?" How has your vocal style changed over the years? How has it evolved, Austin?
I don't know. The better I've got at vocals, the better I've got at impressions, and the better I've got at impressions, the better I've got at singing, and it's like all interconnected. I just feel like my voice is powerful now. It's evolved a lot. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I started to, like, as I got older, because you want to do like so many different styles and stuff, but it takes a lot of thinking about how all the muscles and fibers and shit in your body work to get specific unique sounds. And I feel like recently even I've gotten like so into trying to learn like accents and impressions and just get like really good at those. And I don't know, it's like reigniting my love for vocals and shit. It's fun.
That's interesting that the impressions are helping you to find different types of like scream vocals or singing vocals. But it does make sense. Yeah, because it's all that same thing.
It's so strange, man. It's weird, like trying to impersonate something that you heard, and then you like do your best to try to be like, okay, I'll make that sound, and then it does something. You're like, wait, what is that? What did I just activate?
Right.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's
like
cool.
Like taking like a meat wad like type of sound, and then like be like, well, maybe I can make that into a scream.
What if I throw
something
something in there? Yeah, exactly.
What if I put a little heat behind that? Maybe I'll come up with something. That's
find
really
a
cool.
new sound, and you're like, yeah, exactly, literally that. If find a new sound, could this scream? Could I scream this sound?
We should do a video just called "Does it scream?" or "Will it scream?" and just to see how many impressions you can turn into a scream. Just Mickey Mouse going.
It's perfect. Little knock loose action.
Yeah. As far as instrumental, for me, guitar playing and stuff like that, I think more than anything, it's just been adding new styles, kind of like how Austin said, of trying new things. When I first started, it was very like shreddy, Van Halen-y, 80s, whatever, and that was kind of like just classic rock, what I was into. And then as I listened to more like modern rock, modern metal, new metal, metalcore, deathcore, death metal, I started to kind of like bring that into my style. So just like little influences here and there, even like blues or jazz or like, whatever. So I think it helps to just play whatever and things that I don't normally play or what I wouldn't normally play. Like learning all like Trivium songs when I was on that tour, like having to play something that I wouldn't write was really interesting, because then it puts my brain into like just this evolved, that my fingers are doing something they've never done before. So then like you kind of run with that, and then you keep doing that kind of stuff, and you find you're writing like different riffs, different styles, and different songs. So just adding stuff over the years, I think, has been like the evolution of it. Just not being so focused on one style, just trying to play like different things. I think it really helps. Next comes from Brian Lomas. He says, have you guys ever been mistaken for someone else? And if so, has anyone mistaken you for someone who looks nothing like you? And I gotta say, I get tagged in so many posts on Instagram of just white guy snapback. Is that Jared? It's like, it doesn't look anything like me. There's one time I've been tagged in something on Instagram where I'm like, okay, that dude looks like exactly like me. There's one time. Otherwise, it's just like white dude, snapback. Is that DickeyDines? Is it DickeyDines? It's like, bro.
That's pretty funny. There's, I think, man, I guess it's not even really sort of the same, but the one time somebody, like when it happens enough where people have come up to you, you're like, okay, I kind of pick up on the signs, and you learn to kind of like streamline it. Like if somebody comes up to you and they've got like their phone out or something, you could kind of see the camera, and you're like, oh, they're nervous to ask. So I'll be like, do you want like a picture or something? Just stuff like that. Somebody stopped me one time and was like, dude, where do I know you from? And I was like, I don't know, probably the internet. And he's like, definitely not. And I was like, oh, all right. Well,
not that for sure. Not that.
I have no fucking idea. And he's like, "Do you know Chelsea?" And I was like, "Chelsea who?" And he just said some name. I have no idea.
Chelsea Grin?
The band. Yeah. No, I don't know who that is. He's like, oh, all right, my bad. And
that's
he walked
so
away.
funny.
And I was like, that was probably weird for that guy. He's like, what do you mean the internet? What are you talking about? He's like,
it's like, what are you, famous or something?
Yeah, I know. It sounds like I'm bragging or something. I'm like, damn it, this is embarrassing.
It's not the same thing, but it is funny. Yeah. The one time that you were mistaken for Dickie Allen, when Franz mistook you on Twitter for Dickie Allen, and then
that actually happened to me in person.
Really?
I played a festival in Yakima, and somebody came up to me and was like looking at the merch and stuff. Then he looked up and saw me, and he went, "Dude, I fucking love Infant Annihilator." And I was like, what? What happened in your brain just now? You know Dickie. That I'm Dickie, but you don't know that I'm not Dickie Allen. Right. That's like an inverse of what it is.
That's
like he
so
saw me
funny.
In person. It was like Infant Annihilator. I was like close, I guess. Like you're sort of. I get where it happened in your head a little.
And you
bit.
guys look nothing alike.
Not even sort
Not
of
even
similar.
close. That's so funny.
Very funny.
Alex Bao says, I had a question for Austin. You mentioned you used to work at 7-Eleven. I currently work there and was just wondering if you have any funny, scary, or weird stories from your time there.
All of those. Dude, I have some billion stories. I didn't even work there that long, and I have a lifetime of stories from that place, dude. A grown woman peed in the fucking drink rack. She went to she snuck behind the cooler where all the drinks are and pissed on the floor.
Oh my God. I thought you meant she peed in it.
Oh, no.
Like in the drink thing.
No,
I was like,
behind,
whoa.
like into the freezer and like peed on the stock. Some guy dumped one of those 32-ounce Powerades onto his head and was like, I'm possessed. And then just dumped a whole thing.
Oh my God.
There was this one crackhead lady that came in all the time. She was quite sweet, but she was like a little fucking deviant. There's one spot in the whole store where the camera didn't pick up and the reflector in the corner that Tattles was like blind spotted.
Oh no.
And she knew about it.
She knew the exact spot.
And you know what she would do? She wouldn't steal. She would hide in that little corner and she'd be over there for a while. And that's how I would know, because she wouldn't do it all the time. But if she was in the store and then you couldn't see her, you're like, oh no, she's doing the thing. And you look and you'd see her leaving and she didn't buy anything. You're like, no, she's done it again. Run over to that little corner, the biggest coffee cup that you could imagine, filled with the creamers, the individual creamers. She would just open them and dump them in.
What?
And just like laugh to herself and like. And just fill them up all the way. There's like 30 creamers probably to do that. And everyone, I don't know if you've ever been to a 7-Eleven and known somebody that's drank their coffee. Those motherfuckers need that to not kill someone. Like, so if they get there and their creamer's gone, it's my fault. Like, they're like, what's this about, dog? And I'm like, oh, dude, I know some homeless lady came in here and fucking ruined the day. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my God.
Dude, there's one guy came in and he was like, I come in and I buy just the beans. And I was like, what are you talking about? And you can't buy, I can't even sell that. There's not a price tag on that. What do you mean you buy just the beans? You're not even supposed to know that I have beans under the counter. And then he's like, no, I've been coming here for years. I was like, I believe you because this is crazy, but like, what am I don't know how to sell this to you.
Beans?
Yeah, we just had little bags of beans that we had to put in the machine and stuff. Okay. And he was buying those bags.
Oh my God.
And they were like tiny. They're like little tiny beans. And he was I'm buying 2 of them. Like, what? How? Why? Just order these online. Why are you coming into 7-Eleven and making me do a made up transaction? Like, this isn't inventory that I sell. This is just an item we have as the store. It's like we're trying to buy the bags of nacho cheese that go into the machine. Like, no, I need that for the rest of my shift. But yeah. So I could keep going. There's so many.
The creamer story, bro.
I know, the deviant.
So insane.
And she was nice all the time outside of that. It was just the one weird thing she would do.
Oh my God.
Just come in and just cream up.
I worked at Jack in the Box when I was younger.
Oh,
we
nice.
would have these weird people that come in every night 5 minutes before close. So like the chairs are getting put up, blah, blah, blah. But they would have the same order every single night, and it had to be perfect. It was like dollar menu stuff, but they were like just the right amount of ketchup, just the right amount of mustard.
Oh my God, that's so annoying.
Like half the time, I swear to God, they would send it back because it wasn't perfect.
Jesus.
That is so annoying.
That's so annoying.
Like, sir, we're not serving you anymore. This is ridiculous.
Some of you guys don't remember the dollar menu.
Yeah, but before the value menu took over.
Yes. It was a legit dollar menu, and that kind of dates me a bit. But yeah, they would send it back every time. It's like, this is a dollar menu. What do you guys want me to do here?
Yeah.
More ketchup.
This next one comes from Alan Kramer. He says, for Austin, what is your process for writing lyrics, and where do you find influence for flow and cadence?
Okay, that's a fun one, I guess. I don't know. There's inspiration in everything. You could write a song about anything. That's what's cool about it. Like if you take off the limitations of what you could write about, you realize how silly of a question that even could be. You could write literally about anything from any perspective you want, about anything you want. You can make up stuff. You can be as nuanced or as ignorant as you want. Like it is. You could do anything. That's awesome. I love that. That's like what's so cool to me about like art and writing is that you can just. I'm going to write about monsters today, or I'm going to create a whole world that has backstory and stuff, or I'm just going to write about heartache. Like you could, it's so sick. You could write about anything. And then what was the follow-up? What was the part 2 of that question?
Oh, it was, sorry, 1 second here. Where do you find influence for flow and cadence? Yeah.
Different genres. I try if I'm writing at all, I never listen to my own genre. I never want to like accidentally take somebody else's flow or be like too inspired by another band, because that's not what I want to do with that. I don't want to like copy somebody else's thing or be like, we already have that band in this genre, you know? Right. So I'll listen to rap or like UK music or like Japanese music and just K-pop, like anything that isn't like core or what I'm doing. Because those flows sticking out to you, and even if those like subconsciously impact you, them on a deathcore track will now be like an original, unique thing. Even because it's like, oh, you did like a drill rap flow, but it's deathcore. Like that was pretty interesting. Yeah. I find that to be very helpful.
That's cool, man. Virtual Boy says, does Austin plan on doing any more Evolution of an Artist videos? Those were really awesome.
I'd be down. Yeah, I think I took a break because the one we did on Attila, I feel like people were like upset about. Like,
why?
I don't know. I feel like they were just mad that we were like criticizing the music or something. But I realize now that it's silly to be like worried about that. But I kind of just forgot about that series, to be completely honest. I would bring it back. I had a lot of fun with that. It's also too the fun comes a lot of times from like how drastic the difference is. That's why I was like Etienne Sin, Attila, like those are great. But a lot of bands have like a good thing, and I don't know if that's like as like that's nice, obviously, to showcase, but it's not as click worthy. You know, a lot of people aren't like watch this band just get better over time.
Yeah,
or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people do want to see that, but
I think there's an audience for everything for sure.
That's fair.
You know, obviously, like even with like the mansion shows, like you know, you're not going to make everyone happy no matter what. There's people that are like, oh, these should have been longer, more jamming, and then people are like, you should have cut it down to only 30 minutes.
Just make content we want to make and not worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fair.
Exactly. Anyways, those are some comments and questions from our patrons over on Patreon for the after show.
Thank you.
If you want to be a part of the after show, click the link in the description below to go to our Patreon and sign up, and then leave us some comments and questions, and we can answer them right here on the show. Austin?
Yes?
That is the end of the podcast.
That's the end?
It's the end of the podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.
As Sonic the Hedgehog always says, don't eat food off the ground.
As Sonic always says.
He goes...